Really great performance by the Kenyan athletes in Beijing, and in the studio to take us through the analysis of how Kenya actually beat USA and Jamaica to that table of standings. I have Bismarck Mutai at my extreme left, our senior sub-editor at the Standard. Welcome, Sana, to the studio.
Thank you.
And then just immediately to my left is Lynn Washira. She's our senior reporter, athletics and all the sports in general. But then you did a brilliant story.
Thank you.
Concluding the 7-star performance by Kenyans.
Yeah, I think these championships and mostly almost all the athletics championships are just one of those times that you forget you're a journalist and you become a Kenyan. I mean, Bismarck, am I right?
I saw you guys in the newsroom. You were jumping up and down, you know.
Yeah, and I think yesterday was the final race of the championships, the 4x400 meters actually was the first time ever that I ever cheered for the United States so hard. You'd have thought it was a Kenyan team running, just because all of us really wanted Kenya to finish top of the world, which we did, and I mean, we celebrate.
Bismarck, what was the feeling like?
It was I can't really explain it right now, because it's that feeling that you really want it happening every other day. Because if you looked at even what I was saying on social media, I was updating that I'm going to bed sad because
I read
the World Championships have ended and we are back to the normal politics. It's really sad, but I wish we could continue with that, where everybody is coming together. We are all celebrating our athletes. Nobody cares this athlete is from where, this athlete is racing from for who and who, what party does he come from. It is a very good thing.
In other words, you say that you'd like to have the Standard newspaper every day, you know, with the pictures of athletes.
Yeah, look at how beautiful it looks. I wonder what we'll have tomorrow. Probably someone hurling an insult to the other. I mean, that's, no, honestly, that's so boring. Like, when the newspapers just keep on reporting about people's failures, when we can report about people's success. I wish we could do this every day. Honestly, after those 9 days of action, I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I
think the managing editor of the Standard Dailies, Kipkoech Tanui, must have really dreamt of this day before coming up with all this. But then let us look at the individual performances, the gold medals, the 7 medals, starting with the javelin, Bismarck. What kind of a performance was that from the Kenyan?
Just from the clip that we just seen, and what the commentator, I think that was Stan Matthews, who does it for CFI sometimes, or something like that, was saying, that is colossal, that is huge. Does he like it? Does he like it? It is huge. 92.72, that is the 3rd longest throw in the world for 14 years. Okay, we expected something from Julius Yego, but to do 92 in a World Championships, that is extremely huge, and I'm really happy for him.
If an athlete goes out there and breaks a national record for 4 consecutive times, it tells you they're consistent, and they have almost gotten to a point where now they have, they have found their place. They can now do this. It's not developing themselves anymore. Yes, they're still developing, but then they've also gotten to that point where they're comfortable. They can go out there and actually not just post a good result, but a really, really good result. And I think for Yego, he could have surprised himself at the World Championships, because I remember when I spoke to him before he left, he said he's not looking for a big throw. What for? He just wants to be on the podium.
Traveling about Finland and Czech Republic. Yeah. So they must be happy. But the Europeans must have seen it coming from Yego, because you remember you were in Birmingham when the Diamond League meet, when he threw 91, which was the world leading time at the time. We were all praying that let these people measure it, because the officials were saying it is out of the boundary. But to us, we wanted it measured. It was huge. And even the other guys who were competing with Yego also must have were insisting that let's just give it to Yego. He has done it. He has done his best. So most of the guys who competed with him really expected it, but I don't think they expected 92, because it's the World Championship. In the World Championship, you can even win with 80 or less. So,
but of course, you are saying that maybe we expected Yego to win something because of that progression, but then out of the blues, Thunderbolt, 400 meters hurdles, Nicholas Bett winning that goal ahead of the Americans and Jamaicans.
Honestly, that was a surprise. From the heats, how the Kenyans looked, I knew that a Kenyan will probably medal. probably is the word. A gold, I honestly did not see it coming. And I was as surprised as everyone else. And as we were watching with Bismarck, I remember we were even saying, you know, when the race was starting, no camera was on any of the Kenyans. Even when he was, even after jumping the last hurdle, either the director or the camera, it took forever for them to zoom in to focus on that, because, I mean, like, who would have expected 400 meters hurdles? Kenya has never won a medal in a gold in a race that's less than 800 meters at a world championships. So I understand why everyone was surprised, and I was as well surprised.
Is it because of no pressure? This guy did not suffer any pressure going into that final, because nobody knew him.
Yeah, I think the pressure was on Musheru, as we can put it.
Yes.
To us, every one of us were looking at lane 4, because I think Musheru was on lane 4, Beth was on lane 9, because so even as Lynn puts it, even the cameras were not on lane 9. The cameras was on Tinsley, the American, who is the Olympic champion, Mike Tinsley, and then the cameras were also on both of the Musheru, because he qualified from the semis with a with a faster time.
Sure.
So every one of us, when we were watching the TV, nobody thought about Nicholas Bate. We were only thinking about Boniface Musheru until the final lap, and then the commentator is telling, and here comes the Kenyan Nicholas Bate. Then we were saying, oh, we had somebody else on lane 9.
And I think it was so special how he did it after that last hurdle, because when they were jumping the last hurdle, it was anybody's race.
Anybody's race.
Anybody's race for sure. But then I remember there's something he did with his head, you know, like if Mikaela unasema yeye nakufa nayo or something. I don't know. I would love to ask him why he did that.
I can really win this one. And that is how he won.
Eric Keter must be really proud of Nicholas Bate. Although he set the national record in 1993, but then he didn't win a medal. But here comes Nicholas Bate to win.
Eric Ketera, some of the interviews that they did with him, he was really very happy. He was happy that he was one of the guys who we knew about hurdles. We all knew about Eric Ketera for a very long time, the hurdler going to the World Championship but never medaling. And then I also spoke to Rose Tatamuya. You know, Rose Tatamuya is the 400 meters women record holder before the record was said to have been broken by Koki, which was never ratified anyway. You know what happened to Koki and the rest. So Rose Tatamuya was also very happy. She was saying, I'm really happy that we are going to the World Championships and we are medaling at this event. And maybe one thing that people don't know about Bate is that he's also been training in South Africa. He's not only trained in Kenya, he's been based in South Africa.
And he's a two-time Africa bronze medalist, by the way.
You want to say that he's been exposed to facilities? Really good facilities?
He has.
Yeah, because adults is a very technical event. You cannot just do it alone in Kenya, because we don't have that facility there. You can't come out of nowhere and win an adult. We can't say that Bate just came out of the blue. Okay, he came out of the blues in the final and winning it. We expected a Kenyan maybe to medal, maybe a bronze or something like that.
Which I think is now a big challenge to the Kenyan government, to make sure that all the facilities are in place to enable Kenya tap into new talent, because Kenyans are now, you know, expanding into new frontiers, and that is the way to go. But of course, again, there were those surprises, javelin, 400 meters, but then we went to Beijing, not so sure if King David Rudisha would really come back.
And yeah, I know, and I think this was another sweet medal. It was like a sweet medal after a sweet medal, you know, a surprise after a surprise. And I remember someone asking me before the team traveled, you know, what do you think this team will do in Beijing? And I was like, you know, this is the kind of team that has potential to do really well, but it's also the kind of team that has potential to disappoint.
To implode. You held that fear at some point?
Yes, I did. Because as you said, looking at javelin, we knew Diego was good, but we weren't sure. 400 meters hurdles, I mean, like, not even ish, nothing. 800 meters race, cautious. I would say, for me, 800 meters race was one of those races you watch cautiously. Because remember, David Rudisha has had such a shaky 2 seasons. At the Commonwealth Games, which was, of course, his last championship, he lost to Nigel Amos. The whole of this season, he hasn't beaten Nigel Amos. He went into the national team to Beijing, having finished 2nd at the national trials, the first time ever he's lost on Kenyan soil. I mean, yeah, what does that tell you? Fine, he has experience, yes, but then again, can you count on him hopefully. We were just hopeful.
But he's the king, he's the champion. This
Actually,
must
to
be
me, just as Lynn is saying, there was that fear also to me. When we were going, I talk about the 800 meters. Nije Lamos had beaten Rudisha 5 out of 5 races. And I had that fear. And then throw in the defending world champion, then Mohamed Aman from Ethiopia. He was also in good form. So I was thinking, okay, Rudisha was also beaten by Ferguson Rotich as a national trial matter. And the way Rudisha controlled the race, you could see how he shot the guy who got silver for Poland. Yeah. Rudisha and Ferguson Rotich controlled the race. He made sure that Ferguson Rotich was in the inner lane, outer lane, that is lane 2, and him, Rudisha, in the inner lane. So for anybody to overtake, you have to go through the third lane. And that
and
was
I remember
very
at some point, I think, when they were just doing, I think, was it probably 300 meters or something? Adam Calcott.
Yes, he wanted to overtake from the inner lane.
And
you can't do that.
And they blocked him, like not really blocking in a bad way.
But then two gold medals in the 3,000 meter steeplechase, one by Hiving Kieng Jepkemoi. I read in the social media, some Kenyans were not even aware that Hiving Kieng is Kenyan. The name sounds like European sounds or like what. How outstanding was her performance, Lynn?
I think for me, her performance was really outstanding. Her first World Championships, I was looking at that race and I knew if a Kenyan had to win, then it had to be her. I think Bismarck was at the national trials, and the way she executed that race, it was brilliant. There were many people who were also counting on Virginia Nyambura. But then for me, Virginia Nyambura is a bit raw, and she is still very new into the sport. She has done well at the Diamond League, but I think a championship is a different ballgame. But then we also had Sophia Sefa, the Ethiopians were there, experience, and not having Milka Chamos in the race was a bit scary. Having Habiba Girba was even scarier.
Garibi for me was the scary one. Looking at Habiba Garibi, the Tunisian, the way she goes through the adults, she's very technical, which our Kenyan girls have not done it. Even for us, even the Kenyan men, it's only Kemboi who does it better. You can remember how Consensus Kipruto was beaten by Kemboi because going over the adults. He wants to stop. He starts as fast before going over the adults. So for me, Habiba Garibi was the main threat because our girls don't know how to go through the adults very well. But the moment Ivy Kieng went over the water jump, and there was nothing that took her down, although I was a bit concerned because she started at the water jump, and Habiba Garibi was in front of her.
And she was in the inner, and
Habiba was in the inner lane. So, but the way Kieng came over in the final adult, that was very good.
Yeah, speaking about the surprises, but then these at an individual level, 3,000 meter steeplechase men, did you ever expect that Ezekiel Kemboi would win that gold medal?
But who else would you expect to win? No, honestly.
Was there. What would you say?
The skin I can tell you, I sat here with Lynn on scoreline before Kemboi ran. Kemboi was running the following day, and I was asked by Moses Wahisi who the thing is going to win. I told him Kemboi is winning. Yeah, and
you want to say that was outright?
When it comes to the world, to the championship, Olympics, World Championship, and everything, if you have Ezekiel Kemboi in the final, don't expect anything.
Just unless something terribly wrong happens, like he trips, which is a bit hard. I mean, unless something terribly
because
goes
of
wrong.
The way he goes over the hurdle.
But I mean, and looking at this season, for example, looking at Conseslus, looking at Jairus, look at Kemboi. He picks his races sparingly.
Yes.
Kemboi is not the kind of athlete you will see in each and every Diamond League.
Do you want to say he's made his money, therefore he doesn't want to go to IAAF League?
Actually, it's not really about the money. It's about also taking good care of yourself. At the same time, you need money, yes, but also how do you take care of yourself? World Championships, it's also about money. Look at Kemboi's hairstyle. You can look at his style, where he had only a few. He had that funny hairstyle. And I remember the 2002 World Cup when Felipe Scolari talked about Ronaldo. Ronaldo had the same hairstyle. And he was telling guys, when I saw Ronaldo coming out of his room with that hairstyle, I knew we were winning the World Cup. So when I also saw Kemboi with that hairstyle, I remember that.
I remember the 2 times that actually that Ezekiel Kemboi has lost to Richard Matelong. He lost to Richard Matelong in 2010 at the Africa Athletics Championships. Lost to him again later in the year at the 2010 Commonwealth Games in India, and he didn't spot that hairstyle. At the 2011 World Championships, at the 2011 World Championships in Beijing, I remember interviewing Kemboi in Daegu at the mixed zone, and I asked him, you know, today, how did you feel? And he said, you know, any day, ukiona nimenyoa hivi, ujue gold ni yangu.
This is a little character.
Yeah, he is. So I think it's any day you see him, amenyoa hivo, he means business.
Do you still think he has something left in his tank to take him through to Rio Olympics?
If he's in 2016 team, he's winning the gold.
And he said he's there, by the way. I spoke to him
when... Is that a prophecy, Bismarck?
I can't say it's a prophecy as such, but so long as you have him in the final, be sure of a gold medal.
But he always leaves it late. Sometimes he doesn't qualify at the national trials, but then he gets himself...
Actually, at the national trials, he was 4th. He had a wild card, so he was 4th. We had to take him. But the way he ran to the final, I wish even when we were looking at that tape, before even we went to the water jump, you saw what happened to Kemboi. He raced, the commentator was saying he's running like a possessed man. He sprinted, and I was surprised.
Motherhood, maternity, and she's reclaimed the 10,000 meters goal.
I wouldn't say surprise. Okay, I don't know if there's anything like surprise. You know, it's surprise in small letters. It wasn't like a surprise. But yes, looking at Vivian, she's been on a 2-year break. While she was away, people have been running, people have been competing, and she has been busy trying to lose weight. I kind of followed her journey.
Trained on 1500 meters. 1500 meters about sprinting, and that is how she won the gold medal, by out sprinting the Ethiopian, also a 1500 meter specialist.
And actually the whole season she's actually just been doing 1500 meters races.
Someone should have maybe asked that she should have doubled up for 10,000, 5,000, so as to
I mean, when you're coming back from a break, a 2-year break, I don't think that's a risk you want to take. And I think it was wise of her to not double. I mean, look at, for example, what happened to Genzebe Dibaba. I mean, it's fine.
She got a bronze that was in Beijing and everything.
So 10,000 meters and 5,000 meters, that's huge. If Dibaba couldn't handle 5,000 meters and 1,500 meters, I think it was wise of Vivian to actually just decide to focus on the 10,000 meters race. It paid off.
When Mount Fluffy, the Olympic champion, was sprinted, and Asbel is still on 4th position, I was asking myself, what is Asbel trying to do?
And he didn't even respond.
He didn't care. Then I told myself, okay, that is Asbel for you. Asbel can do all that things for you. But he knew he was on form. There was that talk about flu before the race and everything. And me, I was not even aware about that talk of the flu. Me, I was asking myself, what is Asbel doing? What is he trying to do? Why is he leaving people?
He's actually been criticized of, staying back and sometimes getting boxed into the inner lane, and because of his long legs, he cannot come out. At some point, did you feel there was that danger of happening?
I was so scared. I was in studio doing a live show, and we had to, of course, take the pictures live. I could barely speak. You know, my heart was literally stopping. Like, I couldn't even feel my, I couldn't breathe because he looked like he was too far. No, honestly. And everyone looked like they had opened a gun.
And got silver. Even Silas Kibiego.
Is it the pace of Asbel that carried along the other Kenyans, Elijah, for that matter?
I think so. And during their training at Kasarani, they trained together for a while, and that's why you see, I think, Manangoi is so happy. Like, I don't even know how that happened, because he, like, they crossed the line, and then the next shot, he's on Asbel's neck. Or something. And Elijah Manangoi, I think his silver is pretty sweet. Remember, Elijah Manangoi, just the other year, he was a 400 meters runner. I mean, who switches from 400 meters to 1,500 meters? Those are two races that are too far apart. Then you go to a world championship, your first one, and you win a silver. You know, bagging a silver, that was special.
As we wrap up, because we don't have much time now, this one silver that I thought felt like a gold, that is 1,500 meters women face Chemngetich
Yeah, I was really happy for Faith. She's still very young, and she was racing against Genzebe Dibaba, who had beaten everybody in the world this year. So for me, that silver felt like a gold. And maybe the marathon, Elna Kiprop. The way I've never seen a marathon being won like a track race.
Yeah, and I mean,
one on the line.
Like you said, I was saying, it's very unfortunate that you ran 42 kilometers together, but then someone beats you by just a second. Like, it's not a story you want to keep telling, but I agree with Bismarck that that silver felt like a gold almost.
Thank you very much. That has been, really enlightening because of your in-depth analysis of all this. I'm sure we'll have more time to do all this, but I'm sure you guys are going to the airport maybe to welcome the athletes at some point.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Just like the politicians, will you be there like the politicians now
no,
to welcome
different.
guys?
It's different when you welcome athletes and when you welcome politicians.
Thank you very much. That has been Sports Chat, the Morning Express segment of your favorite sports, news roundup and everything. I hope we'll have more time next time to talk about athletics. I've been your presenter, Robin Toskin. Until next Monday.